think President Mahama, which we have a lot of huge respect to him as an international, as an African leader. However, we think he was wrong at the UN.
Yeah, and that level of arrogance now.
The spillover effects from a prolonged Middle East conflict can exacerbate global trade disruptions, leading to higher energy prices, production costs, and broad inflationary pressures on the economy. Ghana's heavy export concentration in gold and cocoa leaves the country vulnerable to adverse price shifts that could rapidly reverse the external gains and pressure the exchange rate, inflation, and public finances.
Yeah, rely on gold and cocoa. Middle East, Qatar rely on oil, Iran oil, UAE oil, Kuwait oil. I heard the assemblians you. Yeah, you can rely on gold. The people we are mentioning are not in gold trading. No. They only buy gold. They don't even have gold in their own soil. They only buy the gold from here. So that Strait of Hormuz, you know, South Africa, the found a co Europe is you. A co Asia. A Ghana economy never so far. And now, me can about IMF share how IMF is plotting against Ghana. Today, how World Bank is also plotting against Ghana. Then the saddest part, we are now seeing other countries almost supporting Sankofoyi. Israel, catch Ghana to support Israel over Iran war na why? Now, other the World Bank is say Santokwana war Israel, America, Iran no ebe affect Ghana economy. And why are they making certain strange predictions? Almost 54% of Ghanaians and 57% of Ghanaians are living in poverty, despite what we call on paper economic friends and progression. I'm saying, IMF just recently gave us the poverty rate in 26%. World Bank is saying 56%. And the one in Tinu, why should we even listen to IMF and World Bank? And what the hell is the Israeli ambassador telling our president and our foreign affairs minister say? They are mistaken. They are calling, because the foreign affairs minister and the president is calling, say, dear Israel, Gaza, in Palestinian, genocide. They should stop. I say no, a mistake. And you guys say Gaza, especially against Iran. What the hell is happening? The way Ghana is managing the economy now, are some people angry? Are we being too vocal for these people? Are we managing our resources from them to the extent to say they feel threatened? Why is the World Bank and IMF always getting on our nerves? And why is Israel, a common ambassador, saying all this rubbish? Can't we close down the embassy? Ain't it possible? Say possible. If not, close embassy. Catch me. Our comment section as never me who did here. IMF no World Bank. From IMF reportage of we have a loss to a World Bank of this Ghanaian economy is progressing, but Ghanaians are still in poverty. Me yam in the minimum maybe a to average, and I say the metal a the poverty zone minimum. This nonsense must stop. What do you think? Catch my comment section as we new subscribe, like, share. Ma unia esu enye bienvedi no ye ba ko max billion oh naked tree na to ba say I'm a 4 year nyema bi wagadre bi minchase I no understand no the bab. Israel ambassador to Ghana Roey Gilad firmly stated that President Mahama was mistaken in calling the situation in Gaza a genocide. He emphasized that determining whether something is genocide isn't based solely on a number of casualties, but such as Israeli victims during Israel's military response, but rather on the intent behind the action. According to him, Israel's military operations were not aimed at completely wiping out Palestinians in Gaza.
I think President Mahama, which we have a lot of huge respect to him as an international as an African leader. However, we think he was wrong at the UN, and I think he was wrong yesterday. I heard very clearly the interview he gave to TRT, and I think he's wrong in the sense that the definition of genocide is not the number of casualties, and I do not deny that the number of casualties in Gaza was big, but the definition of genocide is the intention. According to international human law, what defines genocide is the intention of one side to annihilate, to destroy completely the other side. And Israeli activity in Gaza following the 7th of October was a defensive one. Indeed, the toll in human life, what is known as collateral damage, was big, painful even for us. However, there was no intention whatsoever to destroy, to annihilate the Palestinian people. And in that sense, I think the president is wrong. And I want to be very clear about it. I heard it way back when he spoke at the United Nations.
So what is the intent behind destroying Palestinians? They are the people who gave you the land. You are still massacring them. You have overpowered them. You keep on messing up with their country. Then Iran tells you to stop. Then you pick a war with Iran because you have USA. I'll be supportive. Which kind of nonsense talk is this one? This is the same Israel that decided to deport some Ghanaians. And we have to deport some Israelis back. To tell them that like we don't give a damn about Israel. I'm going to say na MPP for some crab war everywhere. We are any people now more Christopher no more sorry and miracle friends kina sasi suna say wait omuni huh wait omuna ho na mu say heaven no Israel no and to kwa fon kwa tese bia no blood testimonies vampires omunya amanfo no mu go we some go for ya job so all because our foreign affairs minister and our president have consistently speaking against genocide attack in Gaza. So a common ambassador have the nerves to tell our president and our foreign affairs minister say they are making mistakes. They are not stating the facts. What the hell is that? Because he was the same person who deported or detained some Ghanaians. We have to detain some Israelis. Then or deported 4 Ghanaians and Ojai. Omo diplomatic passport. We have to detain back. Then the foreign affairs minister have to question him that look, somebody detain 10, you be detain the friend saying deported 10, you be deported 10. We call 50, we call 50, we call 100, we call 100. And we just have nonsense. And look, I always say this: violence beget violence. You don't smile to someone who is insulting you. You neither pray to someone who is using gun on you. Gun, you use pull gun. Knife, if you also have sharp one, pull them. If na insult, better prepare your mouth, au revoir. Get it to your reservoir and also shock the person with insult. If the person want to throw blows, I beg, make you no lose guard. Throw some blows. But I keep on saying, the alliance between Israel and the United States of America. That's why I hate it. When Ghana is taking military equipment from the United States of America, when we consistently are against Israel, they are last one. Israel soon in the whole world, open spy and friends equipment. They are the number one. Almost most of the military equipment, USA. Then USA will come and give you that gift, and you accept it. You think Israel is not spying you. One day, you speak against them, they will bomb us. We should stop associating ourselves with them. I won't pay us. I'm not sure actually. The common ambassador is telling our president and our foreign affairs minister, say, they are mistaken in our country. Israel. And that level of arrogance now. Now, Ghana must join global pressure on Iran to stop destabilizing Middle East. Africa maybe. Burkina Faso, there's jihadists. Nigeria, Boko Haram. Somalia, Sudan, Al-Shabaab. Libya, human trafficking. Morocco, autocratic rule. Uganda, autocratic rule. Zimbabwe have just joined the autocratic rule too. Rwanda, autocratic rule. Cameroon, autocratic rule. We don't finish our problem. We are supposed to come and discuss issue about Middle East. You the mad? We were all here when Israel attacked a friend is saying Iran first. When United States of America have to join forces with Israel to kill their leader. Huh? Ghana, since when do we become a peacemaker? When we wanted you people to endorse that the transatlantic slave trade was the gravest crime among all crimes against humanity, Israel, you said no. USA said no. But Iran voted yes for what a Ghanaian president and Africa wanted. We should go and speak against Iran. When about voting now, I be there to say why you born no. Cause ya who got the no. I don't know bro fear Jones. Like omu ya kra. Hey, longa kra ya ji from Gwenji. Enye ya ji quick loan kra kra to an empty and say, "Oh no get to am din komo na so, baby like me check your phone." Na I be say when your message if you ba for o ba quick loan. Empty phone mu ade. Omu nim time say we send message nka anaju na send message. Sa na easy for because ye koji IMF busuya. And this had the say, do you know United States of America is being controlled by most of the billionaires in Israel or from Israel or more United States of America. Now the Olympics game of course of France. Sa opening ceremony na yehu ye na ye mock Jesus Christ and Christianity. Ye omodi gave for yes demonstration na you know. Do you know it was an Israel director and producer? I know yes, do you know that Billboard no any friends Grammy Awards near you know any entertainment industry in United States of America is being controlled by Israelis. Have you seen the video or heard the voice of Papa your friend Vladimir Putin of Russia, the Russian president? Eka say United States of America, each one of them are all about so or president biano. Will be about I don't want war. But the very moment the person resume office, then the person will start becoming a warmonger. Do you think they do it because they want to do it? Or because they think they now have the power? No. There are people who are controlling them. In fact, most of the presidents in the world, your politicians, most, certain businessmen are controlling them. The World Bank, you know, what would say I want to say World Bank? I'm a friend. Who owns it? Who owns them? So these people are dictating for certain people that they cannot do. Israel for only Israel, Iran for Yamutaka. Why not US? Donald Trump can know. He can never say no to the Israelis. And the Benjamin Netanyahu or come be Donald Trump the children as a crime. Say yeah. And they hate the fact that South Africa is speaking against their genocidal friends attacks. Ghana is speaking against it. Like how dare you black monkeys. You be a old kind Mo ya tire Bible ato amama mu follow say ye to 2 9 akwa den ne boshe ne kwa ye boshe ne so na enu ne Kenya ina ye no ye mama mu say ye ne mu Nyankopon mu Jesus no ha ya ne wo no sa Israel no say 1948 Israel country 1948 say Jimmy ye o ma Jimmy ya wo Bible mu a ya ante hwiase ya still na no like I don't think far I can't think madness. Inti yembe journey omo yem fight against Iran abra Iran for do the global stage omo mwaka ati munyo serious now after no na me say after na mama theory no how Israel is controlling United States of America and certain their presidencies, how control certain organizations and entertainment industry, how must sell the idea of gay lesbianism through movies and music, through the hip-hop culture, gangsterism. When you say most of the friends say private prisons, friends, America is owned by most of the Israelis. And the Sani Amana call no more gangsters, same goso, no more coke, no goso, no almost nothing money now. Now, World Bank has warned that the World Bank has warned that a prolonged conflict in the Middle East, we yet Africa, yet Middle East. But World Bank said warning that a prolonged conflict in the Middle East, coupled with Ghana's heavy reliance on gold and cocoa export, could expose the economy to external shocks.
The spillover effects from a prolonged Middle East conflict can exacerbate global trade disruptions, leading to higher energy prices, production costs, and broad inflationary pressures on the economy. Ghana's heavy export concentration in gold and cocoa leaves the country vulnerable to adverse price shifts that could rapidly reverse the external gains and pressure the exchange rate, inflation, and public finances. Domestically, SOE pressures in the energy and agricultural sectors remain acute. Delays in the energy sector recovery program cost the country approximately $1 billion annually, a staggering sum. And COCOBA's financial and operational inefficiencies are taking a toll on farmers and the public's finances. We welcome continued discussion and debate on the COCOBA Act, and we suggest that far-reaching reforms of the Act are needed to promote market-based principles and minimize quasi-fiscal risks. Without decisive action in both areas, the fiscal gains achieved under the IMF program could quickly erode. Climate shocks. These are not a future risk. Recent flooding is a clear signal that climate resilience must be embedded in infrastructure planning from the outset. The business environment is a further drag on potential growth. Unreliable and costly connectivity raises the cost of doing business, fragments markets, and discourages private investment in the non-extractive sectors that Ghana's diversification depends on. Diversifying the export base is not just a long-term ambition, it is a near-term risk management imperative. This brings me to the special focus of this year's report, Ghana's transport sector. This is not just an infrastructure story, it's a growth story, competitiveness story, and a job story. The sector is functioning well below its potential, unfortunately. Of Ghana's 94,200 kilometer road network, only 27% is paved, and more than half is in fair to poor condition, particularly worse for feeder roads. The rail network has effectively collapsed from 947 kilometers of operational rail in 1960 to just 160 in 2020, with population access dropping from nearly 30% to less than 1%. Compounding these physical gaps, the sector suffers from fragmented institutional responsibility that hinders an effective coordination in planning and execution of programs. The economic cost is staggering. Road safety incidents alone cost an estimated 2.1% of GDP annually, roughly 4.55 billion USD, more than the entire national education budget, just to give a comparison. So the report identifies 6 priority pillars for transformation. 1, operationalizing the Road Maintenance Trust Fund. 2, developing a unified national transport sector strategy. 3,
You rely on goods and cocoa. Middle East, Qatar rely on oil. Iran, oil. UAE, oil. Kuwait, oil. I heard the Assemblians you. You can rely on gold. The people we are mentioning are not in gold trading. No. They only buy gold. They don't even have gold in their own soil. They only buy the gold from here. So that Strait of Hormuz, you know, South Africa, they found a Europe subu. I call Asia. A Ghana economy never so far. Not Nigeria, no Cote d'Ivoire, no Togo, no Burkina Faso. It is the Ghana that have decided not to export a single ounce of gold or single tons of gold outside in raw form. But a very fine idea in our Ghana. A Ghana now see cocoa. Obe processing 50% of the cocoa. Our Ghana on for run now kono. E that same Ghana. And a World Bank am I warning. E that same Ghana now and a World Bank I want to say you over reliance on it. Nka dia no. You may rely on this. Huh? Dia. You rely on this. It's our resources. What should we rely on? But are you seeing what I'm seeing now? Good. World Bank Division Director for Ghana, Liberia, and Sri Lanka, Dr. Robert Talia, CEO O'Brien, says prolonged conflict could disrupt global trade, raise energy and production costs, and increase inflationary pressures. Time, Rebecca economy be antifaso. Aye, that's all. Nyafu never saw so. As I saw, I'm for so much watch it. Look at some great easy. The World Bank says 56.4% of Ghanaians remain in poverty despite recent economic growth, with widening spatial disparities, highlighting a disconnect between headline economy performance and living conditions. And think, you must didn't go back to 16 cities. Huh? About 250 Ghana or so on so. And the government in bed. The government have been able to bring inflation down. And you want him to say PBR. Yet, the government over 20 and 10 Ghana and 7 Ghana. Even though Broba get 250 Ghana. Go by where no be busy boy perform. I saw on this one. I said, Gary from you so much because Gary now turn 2,100 and they 1,100. So, go by where that's what they are back 10 Ghana. And the government fault. But who did say IMF predicts 56% of poverty? Say Ghana for ye down to the bubu. Just say nye botomu nya no. Na ni nua IMF. World Bank na 56%. No. Ni nua IMF say 24% of Ghanaians. Projection just by the end of the year poverty so is with them. And they say no IMF na World Bank no Ghana. Yeah. Confusion na eba sa side. The indications ben metrics ben normally is measurement in the mai. Omo kan me oman kan bi obi amisa me there was no zero survey bia amisa me whether me hoso me sika so anan so bia amisa me and I'm sure say at them when obi amisa we bia enti wa o hwe me so amisa obi bia enti omo nya sa record no omo nya sa record no enti na me bi say then IMF no World Bank na pay free enchen ade na Israel may warning say you support omo over Iran ono to abama ye when we go to the UN against the transatlantic slave trade no omo to about Iran for to my Israel can no US can no but Israel no common ambassador e ka che president ne foreign minister say omo mistake nti you support Israel over Iran because your president ne foreign affairs minister from say genocide now moye no Gaza no munyai. And all of a sudden the World Bank is telling us Santa connect to us why about affecting Ghana economy meaning say you must support Israel over Iran our the world stage say be to economy to the World Bank is siding with Israel. So have you now seen say World Bank and the IMF no omon pay asem da have you hu catch me comment section as we new subscribe like share mo nya as enemy enwe e dey no ever go pay max billion I will naked true to all the trends. Macau. Bye bye.